What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we are finally going to be testing out Greninja here in Go Battle League, as Community Day was today, and unfortunately I do apologize that the video is late for upload, but Community Day is in the afternoon, which causes me to play Community Day, then do my battles, then do my shoutcast, and by then it's well past the original upload time. But my goodness, this Pokemon has been a lot of fun. I have noticed that it is very glassy, right? It's a double-edged sword. You either get shredded by Charm and Counter, or you are popping off with the charge moves. There is no chill with the Greninja. Now, I wanted to try something unique. I wanted to pair it with a Alolan Ninetales and a Frostlass. This gives us that really nice coverage to grass and fighting type Pokemon. Also has some nice neutral matchups against Pokemon like Lantern, which is also another Pokemon we got to worry about. Overall, pretty fun, and I'm going to be trying other teams with Greninja throughout the week. Let's get into it. Alright, getting into the first battle here, we have Greninja on the lead versus Shadow Swampert. Alright, battlers, Greninja gets to a Hydro Cannon faster than a Swampert. I want you to really understand that, and something I also want to emphasize is if a team does not have a hard answer, multiple, like 2 hard answers to a Greninja, it will sweep. As you guys are about to see right here, Greninja is going to pop off as they swap in a Jellicent. Jellicent is obviously going to be taking a ton of super effective damage, and we get the boost! It is time to unleash, battlers. It is time to unleash the shiny Greninja. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you guys skip to the battles, I don't know, Greninja is a double-edged sword. You're going to get hit like a truck, and you're going to hit like a truck. There is absolutely no chill, and you do need to watch out for Counter, Razor Leaf, and Charm, which is why having it either on the lead or as an anchor is going to be your best option. So what we're going to do right here is we overload on energy. We go for the Night Slash now to take out the Jellicent. Boom! Since we win CMP tie with Greninja, we go for the Hydro Cannon. Goodbye. Boom! Down goes the Swampert, and the final Pokemon is a Galarian Stunfisk! But I can't get to the Hydro Cannon in time, unfortunately, so I have to settle for a Night Slash. So taking out 3.5 Pokemon. Now, Alolan Ninetales and Frostlass will be able to take this game. I also found I did 2 separate sets. I did 1 set with Charm, or not separate sets. I did quite a few battles. We got a good amount today. 1 set with Charm, and the other set with Powder Snow. And it was kind of hit or miss. Powder Snow came in really clutch with teams that had grass-type Pokemon or Flyers, and Charm came in really clutch with teams that had Fighters and Darks. So it's a toss-up, ultimately up to you. Alright, we got Greninja now versus Medicham. Hard lead loss. We go into Frostlass now to get ahead on energy, and they bring in Defense Form Deoxys. Now, this is very questionable right here. One of 2 things has just happened. Either A, they actually are completely weak to Ghost-type Pokemon, and they just decided that, you know what, I'm going to risk it facing off against Sableye and run a triple weak team. Or, option B, they misclicked. And sometimes that happens. As we are going to see right here, they're going to be bringing in Shadow Drapion. So they obviously misclicked right there. But Go Battle League is a best of 1, winner take all, so you gotta leverage these opportunities if your opponent makes a mistake. That is what's so crucial. So we're gonna go ahead and let the charge move go through. It is gonna be Crunch. We have successfully taken Switch, so we're gonna bring in the Greninja right now and look to go for a Hydro Cannon right away. If this Greninja gets energy, I'm telling you guys, it gets out of control. We get a shield right there, and then we do see them swap into Medicham, so I'm going to go ahead and come in with the Alolan Ninetales and look to go for the Dazzling Gleam. Obviously, got to watch out for the Psychic here, as I am Shadow, so it's going to do quite a bit of damage, 20% extra. And now we go for a little bit of an overload and go for the Dazzling Gleam. That way I can get to a Weather Ball against the Drapion, and it's also going to force them, boom, it's also going to force them to throw energy here as well, because they can't safely farm me down or even build up enough, because Weather Ball here is going to do a ton of neutral damage. And now they decide to throw. We're going to come in with Greninja and fast move down, and that is going to be a good game. So Game 1, they didn't have a great answer, right? Greninja popped off. Game 2, They had 2 good answers, but they made a mistake on their switch, which gave me switch advantage. So good game there. Game 3, another neutral matchup right here, this time against Quagsire, so another Mud Boy. And as you guys see, the animation is actually pretty cool. It's hard to see if you're the one throwing it, but on the other side, it's actually pretty nice. Now, Hydro Cannon obviously does a ton of damage. I am concerned about the potential Stone Edge right here, so I'm going to go ahead and shield. It is just going to be a Mud Bomb, which is fine, because now I can go for Night Slash right away, and this is what's so cool about Greninja, is the Night Slash is just a little nice little shield baiting opportunity, and it does quite a bit of neutral damage and a chance to get a boost there. Since I knew they were going to shield, this is great. We're going to go ahead and let the Mud Bomb go through, and then we should be able to get to another Night Slash in time. Now, we are in the 1s right here, so Greninja is worth keeping if they don't have a hard answer in the back. So I'm going to be looking to swap out, and they do bring in a Lantern right here. So Lantern obviously does pretty well against this team. Nice neutral damage against both Frostlass and Alolan Ninetales, but it can't take down my whole team by itself. So I decide to shield just in case that was a Thunderbolt. I actually don't know if that was enough energy. I feel like it was. They're probably just going to be going for, actually they might go for the Thunderbolt, but the Surf right here, no, this should be Thunderbolt. Surf is, 2 Surfs should be enough to KO. Yeah, they do decide to go for the Surf there. We might just be able to get to a Shadow Ball, but I decide to chicken out and go for an Avalanche instead to get this Frostlass, to get the shield there from Lantern, which is perfect. Now all shields are out of the game, and they have to throw energy in order to take us out, which is totally fine by me. And what I'm going to look to do is catch a charge move on Greninja. I kept it alive, but looking at what they could potentially have in the back, I feel like it's a Noctowl, by the way. So I try to catch the charge move, and they decide to swap, and it is a Noctowl. Oh man, who would have guessed? Medicham, or wait, no, that was Quagsire on the lead. Was it Quagsire? Yeah, this was the Quagsire game. Quagsire, Lantern, and Noctowl. So it was a good read on my end that there was a flyer back there, because they needed an answer to Grass. Obviously, having Quagsire being extremely weak, and then the Lantern being weak as well, they needed an answer, which is why I read a flyer and prayed that Alolan Ninetales will take it, which it does right here for me, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving into the next one here. We have Greninja on the lead versus Nidoqueen. Okay, so this is kind of a tough one, right? Nidoqueen, Poison Jab and Poison Fang is going to be doing a lot of neutral damage. So what I need to do is actually not stay in this fight, even though Greninja does so well with the fast moves and charge moves. Look at that, I'm already at 50% HP. So I'm going to go ahead and shield, and then look to go into Frostlass here. Once I go, actually they decide to swap, which was totally fine. I was about to swap into Frostlass, which this saved me right there since they swapped out. I guess they didn't want to give up another shield, but that's fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and overload on energy and come in with the Ninetales now. This is one of those situations where the Charm would have really helped, because I could have fully farmed down with Charm and then had energy on the back end for the Nidoqueen, which is why I said at the beginning, I mean, it's a toss-up. I had some good sets with Charm. I had some good sets with Powder Snow. But the Powder Snow sets, I had a lot more hard counters and close matches and all that. So I felt that it was better to showcase these battles. All right, we land the Dazzling Gleam. I don't think I can get to a Weather Ball in time here against the Nidoqueen. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get to that. They do farm down. And now I'm going to come in. I could come in with Greninja and go for the shield, which I decide to do. And then I'm going to look to go into Frostlass. I don't want to take a lot of energy or a lot of damage from poison. And then I'm going to go ahead and swap into Frostlass, which does resist. And there's going to be a Sableye in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and go for Avalanche. Shadow Ball might be the better call right here. But ultimately, what I want to do is a little Greninja sweep, because Greninja takes like nothing. It looks like Sableye's tickling him. I'm going to go ahead and let this go. Come in with Greninja, and as you guys can see, takes no damage from Shadow Claw. I will be able to farm down. I was wanting to Hydro Cannon the Nidoqueen, but that is going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving to the next one. We have Greninja versus Bastiodon. Very nice lead right here, and let's see what they decide to do. They decide to stay in. Okay, totally fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and look to go for the back-to-back Hydro Cannons, as they do now have a Stone Edge. If I can get this back-to-back, I might be able to get a shield. So I go ahead and throw the first one, and now it's CMP tie, so I'm going to go ahead and throw the second one. But unfortunately, boom, they decide to let it go. And unfortunately for me, they have a Charm and Razor Leaf in the back. Oh man, this is disgusting. I'm going to get absolutely swept right here by the hard-hitting fast moves because my team doesn't have anything that resists those fast moves, which can be, obviously can be tough. So if I had Charm here, I feel like it would have been a different game because I would have Charmed down and double Weather Ball the Victory Bell, which would have been a good game. Again, Charm does well. The Weather Ball, the Powder Snow did well for me against that Noctowl fight the game before, right, with Lantern and Noctowl. So it's anyone's guess which is going to be the better option. I decide to swap into Greninja. The Victory Bell comes back out, and this is just like, this is bad news bears right here, right? And this is why I said it's a double-edged sword. For all the fun that I had in these first, boom! For all the fun that I had in these first couple battles with Greninja sweeping teams, doing so much damage, hard-hitting charge moves, the second you come across Charm, Shadow Charm, and Shadow Razor Leaf, it's a wrap. Unless you can hard lock it down. So good game. Alright, we got Greninja now versus Charizard. Here we go. This is what we're talking about here very positively. They swap out into a Trevenant, and Greninja is once again in a beautiful position. The spam that Greninja can throw, and look at the damage. No boost right there. We can get to another one. Granted, I think they overloaded just a bit, but they were not ready for how fast I can pop off these Seed Bombs. So I'm going to go ahead and come in with Ninetales now and shield the potential Shadow Ball. I think they were wanting to build up to double Seed Bomb, but I didn't give them that opportunity, so we take out the Trevenant. Now, if Charizard comes in, so be it. We have Powder Snow and Weather Ball, but they bring in a Registeel. So this is a really unique opportunity for us as the motorcycle is revving out in the street out there. It's really nice, loud noise in a family neighborhood. This is a good opportunity for Greninja to sweep once again. I should have closed my my window there. So we're going to go ahead and just let the Alolan Ninetales go down. Greninja can obviously take this game for me because I can just do so much damage with Hydro Cannon and gain energy extremely quickly. So we're going to come in with the Frostlass now in this matchup and look to go for Shadow Ball. Zap Cannon doesn't one-shot us. We can completely let this go. As the Zap Cannon, yeah, not too much damage. I'm anticipating them swapping, which they decide to not right there. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the Shadow Ball. And once again, like if they give up a shield, it's all over, which they do decide to give up a shield. It's over either way. By them throwing energy, I go ahead and swap into Greninja, and now we get to the Hydro Cannon, and we do win CMP tie, so this is going to be one-shotting the Charizard out of the sky. Boom! One-shots it, and now we can take down the Registeel, and that is going to be a good game. So, this is, again, Greninja. I said at the beginning, I gave you guys the warning, double-edged sword. If there is no hard-hitting fast moves that can take it out, you're going to have a great time, right? As I'm seeing right here, Registeel, Charizard, had a good time. Game before, Charm and Razor Leaf, not having a good time. So, it's all about what meta you see around the elo that you're playing at. Alright, Dugong right here. This is a tough one. Dugong is so tanky and has the threat of Drill Run, but I'm going to go ahead and go for Night Slash here for neutral damage. Thankfully, we do have that, and pray for boosts. Obviously, boosts would be super beneficial. They decide to go for Icy Wind, and I honestly should have seen that coming, and I shouldn't have been shielding the Greninja, but I decide now to swap into Frostlass, and they bring in a Sableye. So now I gotta start thinking, okay, they have a Dugong, they have a Sableye, they probably have something else that is cover to fighters, and maybe a decent cover to Charmer. So I'm thinking maybe a Noctowl might be a nice in-between right there. Or heck, even a Golbat, but that's like extremely spicy. So it's anyone's guess what could be back there. But all I know is I don't think shielding on the Frostlass would have been beneficial. So I decided to let it go. Now I gotta throw my energy, and unfortunately they do throw a charge move, and I'm gonna pray that this is actually just a foul play, which it is. Doesn't do too much damage, and we can farm down. And now we have a lot of energy, and we got to see what comes in, and It's an Azumarill. That is so tough. I should have gone for the double Hydro Cannons right there, and this is where Charm would have really helped out, is in matchups like this, where Powder Snow and Weather Ball just don't do enough. I'm forced to shield the Play Rough as well. They bring in the Dugong, and I don't get the Dazzling Gleam off. They time it perfectly, as Icy Wind now is going to be debuffing me. And I go ahead and go for Dazzling Gleam, thinking they'll just let this go through because they want to trust in the Azumarill to win. But unfortunately for me, they decide to shield, so that is a lot of energy gone. And now this Dugong is just gonna take me down. There's not a lot I can do. His Drill Run does quite a bit of damage. And I decide to keep fighting the good fight. You never know. Greninja might be able to... It's not going to win. It's not going to win. There's two... Having a bulky line of Dugong and Azumarill is very tough to come back from. So a good game right there to my opponent. Alright, Charm would have definitely helped out, I think, in that situation. Alright, we got Greninja now versus Altaria. Okay, very tough lead. We're going to go ahead and go into Frostlass, get ahead on energy, and they decide to bring in Registeel. So this is what I really liked about the Frostlass safe swap, is when you run double ice, like I am right there with Alolan Ninetales, it draws out those steel-type Pokemon, Galarian, Stunfisk, Bastiodon, Registeel. It's a beautiful setup. It allows the Frostlass to potentially sweep. Now, in these situations here against Registeel, I like taking it to the ones. I'm still going to lose, but it allows me to get the Registeel lower, and it also allows me to have a better advantage in the late game when there's only one shield remaining, and I'm the one with energy advantage in a lot of these situations. So Zap Cannon, not going to be enough to take us out, but they will be able to farm us down, and I don't get the Avalanche, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Greninja, and I'm forced to actually throw the Hydro Cannon because they got that nice farm down. I was hoping for the Zap Cannon KO. So now I'm forced to throw, and they decide to bring in a Medicham. So again, Charm, right? I would have just charmed down the Medicham, charmed down the Altaria, having a good time. But now we're in a very tough situation where if they shield bait, which they do, this might get very ugly very quickly. But they decide to catch the charge move on Altaria. And this, I think, was a win con, because now I can Powder Snow down. The Altaria's out of the way. And mind you, Greninja loses to a Medicham with counter, and it has shields. But if I get shields with the Alolan Ninetales and just spam Weather Balls, Medicham can't counter down a Greninja by the time I get to a Hydro Cannon. And Medicham is forced to throw a Psychic here to KO me, which is totally fine, because now Greninja is healthy enough where I can easily get to a Hydro Cannon and win this game. So that was basically, I would take Medicham and Altaria are two hard counters to a Greninja, but Greninja is still able to take it because of how we danced our energy and shields and the core breaking that we had there with Alolan Ninetales. So good game to my opponent. Moving to the next one, we got Greninja now versus Charizard. Once again, you love to see it. Very positive matchup. I'm excited. And let's see what they do. They swap straight into a Lantern. So this is, again, kind of tough. Lantern does very well against this team overall, but the Frostlass at least can soften it up. And that's my hope here. They decide to go for the Surf, so now I'm going to go ahead and go for Shadow Ball. Try to do as much neutral damage as possible. And look to see if I can get this Lantern low. So now this is going to be the tough part right here. I feel like I got to give up a shield, because I really can't come in with a Greninja or an Alolan Ninetales. So I got to go for the Shadow Ball here to try to get a shield now from the Lantern. If they decide to let it go, so be it. And they do. So this, I'm very happy right now. Charizard comes back in, and it is absolutely loading up on energy, which is devastating. But thankfully, Frostlass is so clutch and is able to even up the shields for me. Had they gotten that full farm down without me getting a shield, it would have been a good game. Which is why Charizard is one of those Pokemon that's extremely spammy, extremely strong. I decide to let the Dragon Claw go through, as it's not enough to KO. They bring in the Medicham, and I have Alolan Ninetales in the back. So now this is looking like a very unique opportunity for us to potentially win, even though we have Powder Snow, as we do shield the Psychic, which was huge right there. I'm going to go ahead and look to go for Weather Balls now. Try to do as much damage as possible and hope that I get a shield, which I don't. So now I'm going to have to throw another Weather Ball. this forces their shields. And this game's probably going to come down to CMP tie right here as they decide to let it go. Charizard comes in, allows us to get one more Weather Ball off, which means Charizard has to shield. And remember, my Greninja had a charge move ready to go. It's so important to do that on your Greninjas, is always, if you can, always have a charge move ready for situations like this, because now it is CMP tie and Greninja wins it with the Hydro Cannon, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Boom, takes down the Charizard. This team was a lot of fun. Again, double-edged sword. I'm not saying this was some hyper meta, climbed a ton of elo. It was a back and forth. You guys saw some of the showcase of the Razor Leaf and Charm that shred through, or the just bulk that you can't get through with like Azumarill and Dugong. But overall, pretty fun, and I'm excited to try some more Greninja teams. And one thing I will say, in limited cups, come next season, right? We got a fresh season coming up. In limited cups, when some of the top meta Pokemon are banned, Greninja might just pop off. It popped off in the past before with me with Bubble and Surf, and now it has this amazing moveset. It's going to be fun. So let me know down in the comments if you guys enjoyed the community day and whatnot, what teams you guys running with Greninja, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.